Hey guys, it's Chris Underwood here again. This is another video with fantasy football. I've already showed you how to find the data on ESPN or the stats and explain how to do the quarterbacks. So I'm now going to explain the running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Because if you're looking at your score sheet for your week that you're on, you'll notice that all the columns are the same. So basically from running back down to tight end, you do it the same way. So I'm just going to choose one of the running backs, and then you would apply the same concept and method to all of them. So my first running back, or actually Mr. Mangum's first running back, is David Johnson for the Cardinals. So we'll go here. Once again, I like to just put in his last name, hit go. So there's a lot of Johnsons in the NFL, and I'm looking for David Johnson right here. You could also change it by teams if you wanted to for Arizona. And, for example, it would just filter out Johnsons that play for Arizona if you wanted to. I just typically leave it on all. So let me do this again. Don't forget that you need to make sure that you are on week 1, which we are. That's our current week. Whatever week you're on, choose that week. So David Johnson, I look for the touchdowns, total touchdowns. That's what this is, TTL, touchdowns. And so the total touchdowns is 0 passing, 0 rushing, and 0 receiving. So I add them all up. Obviously, he gives me 0. So I'll put a 0 on top, and that gives me 0 fantasy football points. I put the diagonals because I put ESPN's data on top and what I've earned for my score on this sheet on the bottom. His passing yards, I'm in the wrong location. Sorry about that. David Johnson, 0, 0. He has no passing yards because he's not a quarterback. Rushing yards. Rushing attempts. He ran the ball 11 times for 23 yards. 23 yards. So I'm going to write down 23 on top. Not how many times he ran the ball, but how many yards he earned. I divide it by 10, and I get a positive 2. If it would have been negative 23, then it would have been negative 2. So for every 10 positive yards, you earn 1 positive point. For every negative 10 yards, you earn 1 negative point. Receiving yards. David Johnson, receiving yards. He caught the ball 6 times. That's what REC is for 6, and he had 67 receiving yards. So I'm going to first write the 6 here. Every reception gives me a point, and I'm going to put 67 on top. I divide that, it says, by 10, and it goes in 6 times. With those 7 yards left over, ignore that. Just get rid of it, okay? He's not throwing the ball, so no interceptions. And let's see if he had any fumbles. Fumbles, he had 1 fumble. So 1 fumble on top, and I lose 3 points for that. So I add them up, 0, 2, 6, 6, and negative 3. So 2 and 6 is 8, 8 and 6 is 14. 14 take away 3, I have 11. So David Johnson earned me 11 points. I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the running backs, all the wide receivers, and all the tight ends. And that's how you do the fantasy football for those positions.